What's up guys, my name is Julie. Welcome back to the Curated Curvy. Today I want to show you some recent acquisitions and things that I bought. So I'll show you the interesting stuff first because I want to show you some like books that are sewing and fashion related, but I know not everybody wants to see those. So I got a little bit of fabric. We are very much still in our year of low buy, and I am not blowing smoke when I say that these fabric purchases were thoroughly thought through. These are not things that exist in my wardrobe currently, and all of these are already like projects that I need to sew and am going to sew in the very near future. Just wanted to offer that disclaimer. Right, so the first one is this knit t-shirt pattern. I've been seeing a lot of sets online and in the sewing community using, I think it's called like Pointelle or Pointelle. I don't know how to say it, but I'll put it on the screen for you. But using that fabric, and it's just like a really dainty style fabric. And I have been on the hunt for some. So I picked this one up. I think I have in total 2.5 yards because I want to make a honey girl tee, which I will talk about in like literally 2 seconds. And I also want to make some little shorts to go with it. Now I have my babe shorts pattern that I have been sewing quite a lot, and I would love to see how that pattern sews up in a knit. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna make those in a knit and see if it works. I don't see why it wouldn't work because there's so much ease in the pattern. It doesn't need to fit. So I'm gonna try it. So that is why I got this fabric. Like I said, I got 2.5 yards to this. I also picked up this. I found this one before I found this one. This is not quite that Pointelle style fabric. It has some striping through it. The striping has a little bit of texture in it. It's like this heather gray color, which definitely isn't in my color wheel, but I need some fabric to try out the pattern with first because I don't want to sew it using the good stuff and then the fit's not right and this needs to be changed and that needs to be modified. So before I sew it using the good stuff, I'm going to sew it using the okay stuff, and it'll definitely be a wearable mock-up. I recently decided that I kind of want to fill in some of the blanks in my wardrobe, so I sew lots of dresses, lots of frilly pretty tops, but I don't have anything like basic for those like kind of down days where I don't feel like being dressed up. And so on those days I just tend to wear like loungewear, like a sports bra and leggings and things like that. So I want some things to fill in those gaps in my wardrobe. So I went ahead and I purchased the Honey Girl Tee by Paradise Patterns, and I am very excited to sew this up. One of the things that drew me to it was the cap sleeve and the crop length, because I feel like a lot of t-shirt patterns are kind of boxy, kind of loose fitting, kind of oversized, and they just don't have the type of silhouette that will work well in the wardrobe that I currently have. And I don't want to make things that aren't going to work with the things that I already own. This top I feel like has the potential to work really well with the style of shorts that I like to wear and the style of pants that I like to wear and skirts and all that, which is usually something high-waisted with a thick waistband, cinched waist. I want something cropped that sits a little bit above that waist, doesn't fall below it, so that I'm still accentuating that and creating that line there, because that's what I'm trying to do over here. So I purchased that pattern, and these are the two fabrics that I want to sew them. All right, next I am definitely on my cohort set journey right now. Every summer I make a couple more cohort sets. I have quite a few in my wardrobe right now, but not nearly enough, because the way I feel is like I would like to have one for every day of the week if I just want to wear one every day of the week. So I went ahead and I got this. I picked this up from Joann's. It is a viscose linen blend, mostly viscose, a little bit of linen. I think it's 85% viscose, 15% linen, so mostly viscose with a dab of linen in there. But I love this blend. I love the drape of it. I love how airy it feels. I love the way it falls on the body. I have some fabric or some garments that I've already made in this this line of fabric, and I know that it works well. One of my favorite dresses, this white dress that I made out of a vintage or vintage-ish quick sew pattern, is in this viscose linen blend, and I just love the way that dress breathes and moves. It's just chef's kiss. So I want a neutral pair of shorts, which you would think is a simple request, but I really don't have any. I have like an orange pair, a mustard yellow pair, I have a black pair with this really vibrant blue through it, I have a purple pair, I have a red cherry print pair. I just don't have a neutral pair of shorts, and so this is going to fill that gap. I already know the shorts pattern that I'm going to make with it, and then I bought a little bit extra so that I can make a top with it. Now the top that I'm thinking of making is either going to be my little tie front top that I've already drafted and made, or I want to draft something that's like a square neck, thick band. We've all seen these tops at this point on Pinterest and on social media. I'll pop in an image, but something like that. So it's gonna either be one of those two tops. It really just depends on how I'm feeling in the day, if I feel like creating my own pattern or if I just feel like pulling from whatever I have. But that is this fabric. It is so gorgeous. Like I said, it's this lovely sand color, so light, and I think it's just going to make the perfect little short set. Got 2.5 yards of this. Next, while I was in Joann's purchasing this, I saw this fabric. It was also kind of impulsive, I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me explain. So I'm going live on Saturday and we are sewing up the Blair skirt. Now I already knew that I wanted to sew this skirt in denim, and I have denim in my stash, but this is also denim, and it's a much cooler denim. And it's a denim that kind of picks up the colors of some of the other things that I plan to make in the very immediate future. You see that? You see that? You see the color story happening there? So when I saw it, I was like, well, this would actually be perfect for the Blair skirt. They only had 2 yards, which I think is going to be more than enough for the shorter version of the skirt, which is probably what I'll sew up. So I went ahead and I grabbed all 2 yards that were left. I just realized now she didn't give me like the end of the bolt price, but she was new, so I'll let it go. But I went ahead and I picked up both yards, and this is going to be designated for the Blair skirt by True Bias, the short version of the skirt. Okay, that's all of the fabrics that I got recently. They all are earmarked for projects that are in the very near future. Excited about that. The next thing I picked up was this book, and this book is called The End of Fashion: How Marketing Changed the Clothing Business Forever by Terry Aggins. I have recently been listening to the podcast, The Cutting Room Floor, and it's a rarity in that it's one of those podcasts, or it's a podcast that actually offers something of substance, because I feel like we are in a time where like commentary is king and everybody's just like talking through their thoughts online, and nobody is like really giving you an inside look or an in-depth thought piece into anything. So anyways, it's definitely worth checking out. It's about the fashion industry, but it gives you a peek into the fashion industry in a way that I feel like we haven't been offered before. So that's that. One of the podcasts, she was actually talking to or interviewing this person, and she mentioned the book, and she talked about one thing in specific that I was very interested in, which is how the house of Louis Vuitton became what it is. And if you do not know, then like Louis Vuitton is not just the brand like Louis Vuitton, but LVH owns a massive amount of high fashion brands and runs them, and essentially installs, or in the past has installed, those like designers, those creative directors to boost these brands and boast these brands. And so that's just something that I've always kind of been interested in. And she just kind of goes through like how marketing, how that like move, how the moves before that changed the landscape of fashion and what it is today, and where do we go from here, because fashion as we knew it and as we kind of still associated with like the fashion of the 90s is very much dead and gone. I already started it. I had to stop last night because I needed to go to bed, but I am very, very interested in this, and this is what I'll be reading right now. Next, I got this garment planner. Now, I was at Warehouse Fabrics in downtown Dallas recently, and inside of Warehouse Fabrics, they have like a little shop, and in that shop, I saw this book. And it was for sale for $20, which I thought was incredibly reasonable, and I didn't get it. And when I got home, I kept thinking about it, and I kept thinking about it, and I kept thinking about it. As I aforementioned, Dallas Warehouse Fabrics is 45 minutes away from me, so I was not going to drive 45 minutes for this book. So I went online and I found it on eBay. Now, it is basically a garment planner, and it gives you the opportunity to plan out 12 projects, so 1 project for each month of the year. And it takes you through the entire planning process. It has pages for like your year at a glance, things that you want to do, when you did them, to mark off how you've completed them. It has project planning pages, so it has pages for sketches and inspiration, has a task list so you can work through all of the things that you need to do, and then it also has dates and notes so that you can keep track of those things. It has pages for the actual projects and swatches. It has tracking logs to keep track of the garments that you want to make, or the garments that you're inspired by, as well as the garments that you've already attempted to sew, or the patterns that you have that you don't want to forget, that you want to keep at the forefront of your mind so you can sew. And then it has a little blurb on a capsule wardrobe, or a little chapter on a capsule wardrobe, how to build it, what to think about, what to incorporate in the capsule wardrobe. And I think it's just going to be a really fun book to go through. I really struggle with like organizing my thoughts and keeping that running list of what I'm creating or what I want to create. Now, I sew way more than 12 garments in a year, and I really don't have any shame in that. So if you feel away, you feel away. But I sew way more than 12 garments in a year. What I want to use this for is pattern creation. So the inspiration, the planning, the logging, the materials, and all of that for sewing patterns that I want to create based off of things that I am inspired by. And 12 would be a perfect number for that. So that is why I picked this one up. And this is the Garment Maker's Planner. Everything you need to know and organize 12 projects. And it does not say who it's by Stash Books. So I'll also link this in the description box below. I don't think Spring prints it anymore. Like I said, I found it on eBay for 12 bucks, free shipping. So That was a steal. All right, and that is all of my recent acquisitions. What have you purchased lately? There are a couple patterns that I purchased lately, but I'm actually out of time. I gotta leave and go pick up my son in like 2 minutes, so I can't get to those right now, but bye.